So, in our code review portion here, I want to address just a couple of questions. We have created a number of different functions here that help us out with all of our portions or all of our pieces of code. We have our transpose, our winner, our rows, and our columns. These are designed to compose on top of one another, and of course we have our left and right diagonal to compose on top of one another. And so a valid question might be, why did we opt for this approach, and why not opt for something that is more all-encompassing? I like breaking down our problems into smaller subproblems. You can see that my original formulation, my formulation of my winner, simply operates on a single row. I'm not expecting this to work on an entire board. And so from this compositional approach, I like the compositional approach because it gives us different properties to test. And so let's talk about how we would actually write some very simple tests for this game of tic-tac-toe. Now, I may be interested in determining, right, if somebody actually won, right, using these tests. And so maybe, just maybe, I would check each condition here. So let's make our final true entry point, and we'll just check if somebody won. So if won, right, we return 1 and victor. Just pass that along here. And we can do that along as well here. And we can do that as well here. Grab that code. Right, in this way we're only returning if somebody actually won. Otherwise, right, we could raise an error and say that nobody won. I think more realistically, we would return, right, that nobody won, and we would say that there is no victor. And before we signify that, right, with a set, just with our null character in this context. So if this is our main entry point to our game of tic-tac-toe, let's see if we can test this. Now, the most basic test that we could write, we'll go ahead and get going. I can grab my board. The most basic tests that we'll write are going to be smoke tests. And now our smoke tests, this would be from tic-tac-toe. Our smoke tests are going to be very simple, meaning I'm going to effectively just have some known input and test some actual output. And so I know that if I have a test, we'll test our row win here. If I have a test in this case on a row, and we run this with PyTest, I can create my board. And since I'm calling this test my row win, we'll say that the first row of X's are my winners. And of course, we'll just have to put some other jargon in here, just like that, make sure there are no winners anywhere else. Then I can, of course, run this test. I'll use my main entry point, my game winner function. And then we'll just say 1, victor equals game winner on the board. And then we'll assert that somebody won. And we can even go further, assert that the victor is equal to our X player. So we don't have the victor here. So what we would do in this case, well, I could add a note here. We would need to see who the victor is. And so I could do something like this. We'll take a look at our victor in this case, and we won't be able to print this out. So I could just fall back, run this in Python, and just test our row win, just like this. And we'll, of course, test our victor, and print out our victor, I should say. Our victor is an empty dot here. And so maybe we'll need to revisit some of this logic that we have here. If we won, return that, and the victor here. That looks good. And then we should have a win on our first row just like that. And so we'll also take a look at our 1. So this is detecting that nobody won in this case. So let's go ahead. I think we just need to refresh our code there and just make sure that everything works and check our row. We can always go back to our original formulation that we have here and just to see if we get our game winner on our board. Just like that. Print this out. That looks good. That looks good. And now let's print out each row. I'm going to just debug just by removing simple lines of code that I know shouldn't be factoring in a play here. And so that looks good. Now I should have a winner in this case. We see that we do have a winner. And the simple thing, we're missing our return. So we just need to make sure that we have all of our Python statements in line. Simple problem, very simple solution here. Excellent. Now that we have all of these entities back in line, let's see if we pass our test. And we do see that our victor is who we think it is and that we won on a row. So I'll switch this back to PyTest here. And we do pass that test. Now I could play against multiple boards here, and I could make assertions about all of them. So if I have something like many boards, what would this look like? Well, I might indent each of these just to have track many different boards here, because I'm also curious, well, what happens if my win is not on the first row, but the second row? So here, I'm saying that the winner is the first row in X, my winner is the second row and should be O, and we would carry this forward. In this case, just to keep my code simple, I'll always make sure that the winner is X. And we have just a couple of simple smoke tests here. And of course, I'll need to create a new list to have my list of boards here. And then I would do something like for B and boards. And we'll of course assert that. That looks good. And this should be B. Perfect. So we can create multiple different tests here. Now, the next thing that I might be interested in testing is write a column win. Now, using this high-level game winner function might be a little bit testing a little bit too much, but this should still give me full coverage because I'm testing all the paths of my code that I have here. So let's get some new boards in this case for us to test with, and we'll write another smoke test just against our columns. So in this case, I have my O's here and do my first column, kind of carry the same pattern forward. So that looks good, and then we'll have a winner here in the second column, just like that. That looks good, and then we should have the victor being O here in this case, and that test passed as well. I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because I'll just start writing tests because I know that they passed. And so I want to take our time and write just one more very simple test for both the left and the right diagonal. Now, instead of testing all of these different components, instead of testing whether or not somebody won, I may want to test, right, my individual functions that I have, right? And remember, I wrote a rows function, I wrote a calls function, or columns, I should say, and my LDiag and my right diag. I can go through these and I can start asking, and this should be rows with an S. Perfect. I can start asking, well, given a board, am I getting each of the rows that I think I should get? And so we can see the rows won't be too interesting if I just test those rows. Test rows, just like that. If I have a board that looks like this, then I know, just by visual inspection, that the rows of my board is going to be equal to the original board. and that seems to pass, right? This doesn't require any very complex logic, but we should still make these assumptions or these assertions, I should say, because I don't want my rows function to accidentally or mistakenly change the shape of my board. Now, I can also do the same thing for my columns. So this would be my test columns. And in this case, I can have another smoke test. I would output my actual board here. So I'll manually code this in. My first column is going to be XXO, and then my next will be XOX, and then my last one is OXX. And so here we have a slight mistake in our logic. So we have XXO, and the next XXO, the next column is XOX, and the last column is also XOX. And it looks like we have an error, again, in our test columns here. It looks like the last one in this case is not XXO, or the first one's not XXO. So let's see, XXO, XOX, and XOX. We unpack that, and we should get what we're anticipating out in this case. I could go back, or I will go back and just check out my board here. We can see that my columns board, that looks good. XXX in that case. That was my original problem. So this should be XXO, just like that. Our second column XOX and our third column XOX. So maybe our columns isn't producing what we are expecting it. The thing that I would go back here, and I would go back to my original formulation and just start looking at the columns on the board. So I can use my columns function, board, and unpack it just like so. And I'll of course print this. And the main thing that we're producing, and the main difference, this did come back to bite us, is we have our tuples, right? So in this case, we have our tuple data structure here. This is a list of tuples. Now it's probably worth going back into my columns function and fixing this, because right now this was a little unexpected to get this test to fail. And I don't want to mix up, right, the container types that I'm returning, especially since my rows returns the original data, the data as it was produced, and even my left and right diag, this will produce a generator. So my next pass on this code will probably go back to normalize all the container types that are being returned, because right now, sometimes I have a generator that yields each element, such as the case of my left and my right diagonal. Sometimes I have a list of lists, such as my rows, and sometimes I have a list of tuples, such as my columns. And by writing just some very simple smoke tests, this fact was revealed to me, and it was slightly problematic. And so my next pass on this code would actually require me to go back, normalize all these entities, and the normalization is just going to help me in the future and anyone using my library to play our game of tic-tac-toe. So that brings us to the end of our session that we have here today, covering how would we formulate a game of tic-tac-toe and how would we write functions that actually check if somebody has actually won that game of tic-tac-toe. We talked about how we would go about testing, and we wrote some just very simple smoke tests. Some future steps that I might apply, well, I might incorporate a library like Hypothesis to create some randomly generated tests. I may dial that back and just say pseudo-random test, because I don't want to end up with impossible states or impossible games of tic-tac-toe. So it would have some pseudo-random board creation, and then we can see if our game-winning function is actually able to capture whether or not these boards have a win. Additionally, I would probably go back and do a second pass on the code itself. I don't know if I'm quite happy with our game winner function. I think we can simplify some of the logic that's being used, and we can even iterate over each of our win conditions, that's a win on our row, column, left and right diagonal, to just check if any of them has a win and even return the function that produced the win. And in the case of the row and column, which row, which column are we talking about? And you can even think, if we had a 4x4 board, well, we might have multiple diagonals. So in that case, I would be interested, is it the diagonal that's offset in the positive direction or the negative direction, or is it along the main diagonal, either left or right? So there's a lot to contemplate here in our game of tic-tac-toe, but I would end with this. Regardless of what you do and what improvements I would make to this code, I would return to my client and I would say, here is my minimal viable product. How do you envision this, your use case, changing in the future? Because those are the criterion that I want to code against. I don't want to sit here and make up problem after problem, say, oh, what if the end user wants this and that? I should go simply straight to the source and say, how would you like to see this change in absence of the code? But how would you like to see your game change in the future? Because that's what I want to help you write.